what we want to do is maybe do a quick shout out to some people that are here. Let me see who is here. We have a few people. So Peter says yes, he could hear us. Audio's good. Uh, let's see who else. There's like 8 people on here, so let's see
That's
who else.
awesome. Well, welcome everybody. It's gonna be a fun chat, so
Yeah,
stay tuned.
been waiting for this. Let's see. Jai Kat says audio's good. Hey Jai, thanks for joining us. Um, he's here in You're here in Minnesota, Jai, right? Yeah, I just met with him the other day. So, Peng Vang, thanks for joining. Is it Peng? Yeah, Peng Vang. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, Tao, thanks for joining. If you guys can like, share, leave comments because we're gonna be asking. I mean, at the end of the show, we always ask questions if you guys have any questions. So please leave comments below or ask your questions, and later I'll ask on phone any questions that you guys have. So let me see who else is here. And again, if you guys can, if you're able to share it so that we have. Oh, hey Jasmine,
Hi.
Jasmine, hi Jasmine. Yes, in Minnesota. Okay. All right, we have about 9 people here, so we could get started, right?
Okay.
Let's see. Sorry. Yeah, I'll do the intro, then I'll explain a little bit while phone is closing the door.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Hey guys, welcome. This is the Fang Real Estate Show. Sorry that we've been gone. This is episode 7, and sorry we've been gone for a few weeks. We were on vacation and a couple other things. So now we're back. We're back with the one only, the Mong Loso, right?
Mong Loso, that's right. See the cards in the back.
So yeah, if you guys can, if you're just joining us, please like, share, comment, ask your questions, and then we'll answer that. Answer those questions later. But today we're with Fong Fang. Fong, why don't you introduce yourself and like a 30-second introduction, who you are, what you do, and how you get into real estate.
Yeah, definitely. First off, welcome everybody that's tuning in this morning. We were supposed to do it about a week ago, but something came up and I couldn't make it. But thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Fong Fang. I'm actually originally from San Diego, California. Quite some time ago in 2002 to 2003, I moved up to Rhode Island, and I hooked up with my uncle Zach Fang, who was on the prior show. He had his own brokerage firm, a real estate brokerage firm out there. So that's where my whole real estate career started. So I actually started as a real estate agent and was a real estate agent for about close to a decade. So I'm really well versed in real estate and real estate investing. And about 5 years ago was when I made the move here to Minnesota. And I wasn't looking to become a loan officer at all. And the reason why I became a loan officer was because when I initially bought my first duplex, I had such a bad experience that I told myself no one should ever have to go through this again with the loan officer. So I saw an opening there, and I jumped into the mortgage side, and it's just been crazy ever since.
Yeah, it's hard to find a good loan officer.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It is, you know?
So then, what were you doing before real estate? Before even like real estate in Rhode Island?
Yeah, back in San Diego, I mean, the sun's always out, so you have a lot of time to contemplate and to softball, yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, I didn't have a lot going on for me in San Diego because I was young. When I moved to Rhode Island, I was about 21, 22, and prior to that, I mean, I didn't have any visions, any goals, any dreams, or anything.
Yeah.
I just wanted to kind of hang out, for the most part.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was there with you in San Diego too, right? You're a
Yeah,
little bit older than me, but uh
you know the sun's always out, so you have a lot of time to kind of softball. And every in San Diego, it's just everybody's laid back. It's more of like a surfer mentality where you just kind of hang out.
yeah,
So
yeah. Like
yeah,
every weekend, I think you're doing that. You're doing a lot of volunteer work now too, but in San Diego, like every weekend there's something going on.
something going
And
on. Yeah.
yeah, and the community is small enough where you all kind of know each other. and so you know you're like, hey, come hang out, then you go. So
Yep, it's one of those things where once you get in, you can't get out of. You know.
yeah. So why did you decide to move here to Minnesota 5 years ago?
So we were in Rhode Island. In 2003 was when we moved out there. So we purchased my parents a laundromat dry cleaning business.
Uh-huh.
So they've been stuck out there for about 10 years, and
Yeah.
they were just burnt out, just doing that business. So I knew that, if we sold that business, they wouldn't have anything to do.
Hmm.
So I had to, kind of think of a place to go where I can kind of bring them there to kind of retire.
Yeah.
And then a lot of our family is here in Minnesota as well. And I
Yeah.
came here a couple of times just to kind of check out, Minnesota, and I just saw a ton of opportunity here. So I said, you know what, we're moving to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, good thing you moved here because I mean, people might not know, but the reason I moved up here from San Diego is because you told me to move up
Yeah,
here.
definitely. Opportunity is unreal up here. It's
Yeah.
it's whatever you make of it, right? Some people move here and they don't make very much of their lives. Some people move here and they catapult their life to that next level where they were a $12 an hour player and now they're multimillionaires. We see that in our family as well. Some of the ones that have came here, early on. So tons of
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah. And I think like maybe some of us are from like outside of Minnesota, and so we have I know for sure I mean I know some people that are here and they don't see the opportunities that are here.
Yep.
Um, but you know, being from outside and being from San Diego, where we lack that opportunity, you know, there's definitely a lot of different things that you could do up here to advance yourself personally, financially, for yourself. You know, so that's
Yeah.
good. I think I made the right decision listening
I,
to you.
I
So.
think so too. I mean, because when we're in San Diego, I mean, sure, the weather was beautiful, but it was just so tough to come across opportunities. And, here in Minnesota, when you come here, it's just not real estate, but just associating with people that are like successful.
Yeah.
And now that you have all these people that are successful, you yourself mentally know that it's possible too. So you
Yep.
strive even harder, so I think that's the key. One of the big keys up here.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, you started with one property. Everybody starts with one.
Yep.
So what does your portfolio look like now? The 5 years you've been here,
5 years, 4 properties.
4 properties.
Yep.
Okay. But then let's go back to that very first property because you're a loan officer, but you're also a real estate investor.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll go back and we'll kind of talk about it. I had a strategic plan coming up here when I moved here to Minnesota of exactly what I wanted to do and how I wanted to execute my portfolio. Prior to that, I've owned other properties, but that crash in 2008 nearly wiped me out, Zach out. Zach had at some time over 60 or 70 properties, I think,
Yeah.
and I was property managing for him. And when the crash came, I mean, it nearly wiped everybody out. So
Yeah.
it took me a long time to build my credit back up to get to
Hmm.
where I needed to be financial wise to purchase again. So when I came up here to Minnesota, obviously the wife, they want that nice house in Woodbury,
Yeah.
4-car garage, 4,000 square feet,
Yeah.
but I knew that I didn't move up here to be a slave to these liabilities, right? Your home,
Yeah.
your car, stuff of that nature. So I knew I had to purchase a duplex. So
Wait, so that 4,000 square feet Woodbury home, that's not an asset?
I
Explain
don't,
that a little bit.
it possibly can, but if you're constantly working for it, it's a liability, right?
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
I mean, it doesn't generate any income for you, especially if
Yeah.
it's owner occupied. So,
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, your duplex?
my duplex, I came up here and I was like, I need to get a duplex because I knew that the only way for me to save money was not to have a housing payment, right?
Yeah.
So I knew that I couldn't come up with $10,000 or $15,000 overnight, or even working, because we spent so much money on housing. So I knew that the only way for me to save money was to get into a duplex so that I can have my tenants pay for my mortgage, so that I can save myself $1,000 every single month on housing payments. So if you just saved $1,000 every month in 1 year, you've already saved $12,000. In 2 years, $24,000. So that was my whole concept behind it. So I purchased my duplex on an FHA loan. That's how bad my credit was.
Yeah.
FHA loan, Minnesota housing. So it was literally zero down. I mean, I think I came in with about $1,500, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So Minnesota housing on a duplex, 3-bed upstairs, 2 beds on the bottom, and my 3-bed paid for everything. And I was cash flowing about
Yeah.
$200 to $300.
So how much did you buy this property for at that?
Luckily I bought it right before the market started going up. I think it was like 2012 or 13 or something like that.
Yeah.
Still bought it pretty expensive at that time. I bought it for about $135.
135 for a duplex.
Yeah, 135 for a duplex.
A 2-3 duplex. You can't get that.
You can't get that. And I bought it, and my mortgage payment was only like $950. You know.
Yeah.
And I had the top rented for about $1,200. You know. So. Paid for my whole mortgage. I had a little bit of extra to pay for, water and all that other stuff.
So you're living. So at this point, you're already living for free, essentially.
Living for free already.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the thing. Like that's the thing. Like moving from San Diego for me is this concept. Like it took me a while to understand this concept. That your mortgage payment is your biggest expense, or your rent, wherever it is. You're living. You're either renting or you're paying a mortgage. That's your largest expense.
Yeah.
And so like every month in San Diego, I'm always like, all right, we got to pay rent. We got to pay rent. And moving up here, that concept, exactly what you just did was what I did too. And just that concept of, I don't have to pay rent anymore. Like it frees my mind.
It frees your mind up.
Yeah.
It's just opportunities unlimited at this point. You know?
Yeah.
And your mental game at that point is just completely different now. You're no longer a slave to these particular things, So, I think had I not set it up like that, I wouldn't be as productive as I am in mortgages, because on the back of my mind, I'd be thinking about my mortgage payment all the time. I probably would have went back out to get an hourly W-2 job somewhere, maybe at a company or something, just to pay for the mortgage.
Yeah, it's not even the fact of like paying, right? It's it's that mental shift that you have.
Shift, it's almost like a paradigm shift where heck, this is possible. So I got half of my issues out the way because I don't have a housing payment. It's up to me to just hammer it in.
Yeah. So how did you fund this deal again? How did you fund this first?
Simple. Yeah, it was a straight up FHA loan, 3.5% down, using Minnesota housing down payment assistance. So they gave me $10,000.
Oh wait, you got down payment assistance?
Down payment assistance, yeah.
Yeah,
down payment assistance. So I think I came out of pocket. I want to say it was like $1,000 or $1,500.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, literally, it was like no money down.
If you don't have like 1,500, go borrow for your go beg.
Yeah.
Go out of the street and say, hey, you know what? I need to buy my house. It's gonna require 1,500.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, right.
So I obtained that. I mean, it was pretty simple, So even nowadays, I talk to a lot of homeowners or first time home buyers, and I'm like, okay, my question is always, what are you looking to do in the next 3 to 5 years? Are you looking to buy? Are you looking to invest? Or what are you looking to do? What's your end goal? If you're looking, or if you're even thinking about investing, just entertain this concept real quick. I mean, you might want to look into a duplex, suffer for a little bit, but I guarantee you in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to be like, damn, I made the right move,
So your wife wanted the Woodbury house or the expensive house. How did you convince her to like let you start with a duplex? Because I think the spouse is also involved in our decisions, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think, and a big thing to that was just some of our uncles or your brother who's moved up here, back in the late 90s, and how they built their empire was just strictly with duplexes, and they built it, and I've had conversations with them, and they've always told me, look, if you're moving to Minnesota, you've got to do it this way. You're going to suffer for a little bit, but you're going to save a lot of money. And, we've had talks with them all the time, and we just said, we're going to do it like you guys, because you guys already made it happen. So we're just going to follow your footprints,
Yeah. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, right?
No, not at all. Yeah. It's not a strategy that I came up with, but it's just, it doesn't have to be sexy, and it doesn't have to be fancy, and just keeping things simple. you know.
So I mean, I think like the bigger pockets guy called this house hacking, right? Where
Mhm.
you purchase maybe a duplex, triplex, fourplex, even single family if you want to rent out the rooms, you know.
Yeah,
Like my brother, he's single, so it doesn't matter. He could get a single family and rent out the rooms, and you know those rooms will pay for your mortgage already. Or in your case, like your tenants already paying for all your mortgage and tax and everything like that. So that kind of helps you spearhead whatever you want to do in the future.
yeah,
Um, so where are you now, though? I know you just purchased a property, right?
yeah. I just purchased
For
my
your wife.
I purchased finally purchased you know, a single family that my wife kind of wanted to live in. So it's not anything bigger, you know. I'm still in St. Paul. I'm still on the east side, you know.
Yeah,
So um, and I'm okay with that, you know, because I don't need to be fancy. I don't need to. Can I go in Woodbury and buy a house? Sure, you know. Can I drive a fancy car? Sure, you know. But I just want to keep things simple. So I'm here now at this place. I think we just picked it up about a month and a half ago. So stuff's still all over the place. But
yeah,
even this property here, at the end of the day, with the properties that I purchased prior to this one, it pays for everything. So I bought this one for about 230, 235. I
uh-huh.
bought it for 235. Mortgage payments around 1,300 bucks. But because of my cash flow from my other properties and the way I set it up, I still have zero payments. So
Yeah, yeah,
I own 4 homes right now with zero payments.
yeah, yeah. So regardless, you're still not paying anything.
I'm not
Everything
paying
else
anything. I
take
mean,
care.
sure, you have your nuances of maybe, you know, water bills and this and that, small stuff. But overall, in the big picture, you know, you don't have any. I don't have any mortgage payments that I'm paying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So if someone wants to get started, like in your case, to start the duplex to house hack or something like that, what's your tip from especially from a loans perspective? You know, because you're a loan officer, you
yeah.
get to you pretty much. I mean, you're not underwriter, but you're giving the information to an underwriter, so you pretty much understand the underwriting process, right? And
Absolutely.
yeah, so,
And here's a couple of reasons why I definitely recommend a duplex is because you don't need a whole lot of money to get started. You don't need to make a lot of money to get started because if you're going in buying a duplex and you can probably qualify for about 14, 15 bucks an hour because you have that secondary unit that you can use as income to help you qualify, you know,
yeah,
whereas if you're going into a single family home at 15 bucks an hour, you might only qualify for about 140 to 150,000.
yeah,
At 15 bucks an hour, if you bought a duplex, you might qualify for about 220 to 230,000. So I definitely, you know, I push duplex as your first purchase. It's not sexy, you know, I get it, but if you're looking to build a portfolio over you know 3 to 5 years to 7 years, start with the duplex because that second purchase is going to be super easy, you know.
yeah,
Whereas if you bought a single family and then you're trying to get a duplex as your second house, super hard, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you just
Yeah,
have to structure it.
yep, I recommend that too. Like, not even for people that want to do like big real estate stuff, right?
Yeah,
Like you and I, and some of us, we probably want to do a lot of. I mean, we in it full time, so we want to invest in a lot of real estate projects. But even if you don't, like, I recommend get a duplex and then get a single family, and then now you don't have to pay anything.
yeah, and it could just be that, you know, right
Yeah,
too. I mean, who cares? We're not even talking about like 10, 20, 50 houses, you know. We're just talking about 2 houses. You know, how do you obtain 2 houses and have zero payments? You know,
yeah,
it's super easy. Buy a duplex. In the first year, you're going to save yourself about $12,000. Second year, you're going to save close to $20,000. Use that to buy your second house, which is your single family.
yeah,
Your duplex is going to cash flow to pay for your single family, and then boom, you're all set to go. You know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So let's move on. Let's talk about a deal that you've done because it's not just I mean you have more than one property. So do you have any particular deal you want to talk about maybe?
Yeah, we can talk about this property I picked up. It was at the end of 2018
Yeah,
that I picked up. So, um, and I think when it comes to real estate investing, you know, a lot of people, you know, they watch HGTV and they think they're going to find these monster deals and everything else, but it's hard. You know, real estate investing is a full-time job. You know, if you want to
yeah,
be successful at it, and two, you know, you have to be full-time. You have to get out there and 80 or 90% of your job is just networking, you know, and
yep,
it might not be paying right now, you know, but you have to network. You have to expand your network so that you can find these nuggets or these gems in the rough. And that's what I've been doing since I've been doing loans is just networking. So I found an awesome deal. A person was they were just looking to move out of St. Paul to in the suburbs, and they owed I think 80,000 left on that house, and they said, you know, just take over, you know, just buy it. I'm going to give it to you for 80,000. I don't want any
dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want any profits whatsoever. You know, I know you from a friend of mine, and they recommended you to me. So if you can purchase it for 80, take it. You know, obviously the property needed work, and the ARV on it was about $180. So there's $100,000 in equity right there.
Yep.
So I took that deal over to David and Ty at Twin City Capitals.
So they are hard money lenders.
Hard money lender.
Yeah.
And I purchased this property literally zero down. I mean, this whole thing didn't cost me a dime, you know. So I took it over to Twin Cities Capital. They funded this whole deal. Property was 80,000. They gave me 120, somewhere around 115 or 120. Use that money to fix that whole house up. I mean, turned it from
so they gave you the rehab costs too, then?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So they gave me, I think it was 70 to 80% of the ARV. So it ended up being around like 110, 120. So I made 30,000 right away, you know, just to fix the house. We fixed it up. Took us about 2 to 3 months, fixed it up, and then I hooked up. If you guys are looking to refinance out of a rehab without title seasoning, let me know. I know of a pretty good loan officer that did it for me. Kim Burke, I think you know her too. Kim Burke of Leader One. So after 2 months,
she's doing my refi right now for
she's freaking awesome. You know, so they don't have any title seasoning. So I did it for rehab was 2 to 3 months. We sent that loan to Kim Burke and she refinanced me out. And when it was all said and done, my mortgage payment was about $850. I now have it rented out for $1,400. So it didn't cost me anything.
Yeah, $1,400, $850. So you cash flow like almost $600. So maybe put some capex and stuff away. You're still cash flowing like at least $450, $500.
Yeah. And
on a zero down, what's the return? What's the return on investment, Fong? If you have zero, if you have nothing in the deal, but you're getting like $500 a month,
unlimited, right? Because you don't have a number to start with, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You break the calculator if you try to divide by zero.
Yeah. And these deals don't come along all the time, but you know, I think real estate investors, you know, what you guys really have to do is, I mean, you got to hit it full time, you know?
Yeah.
You have to hit these investment groups, these networking groups, and you just have to expand your network. And the ones who are sitting on Facebook, waiting on MLS deals or waiting on even our Hmong real estate page for deals to be popped up, that's far and few. You know, you got to get out there and work it like you're working your regular job, you know?
Yeah.
By doing that, guarantee, you know, every single year, you're going to find 1 or 2 gems in the rough that's going to probably make you $100,000 a year. You know?
Yeah. So, but then I bet you get this deal because I mean, you've been networking, and then you also, I mean, you're a person that, you know, people can trust, right? So that's why they recommended you to that guy, that you know, that seller is essentially, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and you know, and just at the same time, right? I mean, we're in business, so we have to be ethical, you know, and a lot of times, especially in Hmong community, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on sometimes. You know, be ethical. You know, you're not always going to be leading the pack when you're being honest and ethical, but in the long run, you'll lead the pack. You know, and build that name and build that reputation up, and you'll definitely find deals.
Yep. Yeah. And you know, if people have questions too, you know, ask, and then if you know something, try to help people out. I think that's the best way. I know that you've been putting a lot of like video, I think almost weekly, to give tips and suggestions to people, right?
Yeah, definitely. Because you know, I know how I felt when I was first starting in this business, and when I bought my first home, and there was just a lot of questions. So I try to put out, you know, content out there that's true and real, and because there's just so much junk out there that everybody's super confused. So we just try to put real content out there so that, you know, it makes it easier for people who are looking to buy. so they can access this information.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you don't get paid to put those videos up, but I mean, you're doing it to help people out.
Yeah, and I definitely do it to help people out, and I tell real estate agents as well. Look, come to me anytime. I don't have to be doing the deal to be helping you. I
Yeah.
can care less if I'm doing the deal or not. Send me your questions, send me your scenarios. I don't really care, but I'm willing to help you out.
Yeah.
I don't need to get paid on it. So I think if we can all kind of have that mentality, I mean, we can take business in general in the Hmong community to the next level. But
Yeah.
I think still, I think people are still hiding a lot of stuff and a lot of information. So we just have to be more resourceful. This is to
Yeah.
all of our real estate
Yeah.
professionals, loan professionals, insurance professionals.
Well, what I found is, especially all the people I've been talking to, like the real successful people, not like the one hit wonder kind of people, but the people that do it for a long time and are super successful, they're always sharing information like free.
Yeah.
Like Zach, like for example, like he's been doing it 20 years. I talked to him. He doesn't get anything from me, but he
No.
just shared that knowledge. All the other people that I talk to that are successful, that's all they do. They just, it's like they want to let you know, like
Yeah.
yeah. So that's great. Um, so then, what's the outcome of that this deal that you did? You just rented out now, or what?
Rented it out, and it's yeah, it's just cash flowing, and it's been
Okay,
good.
all right, that's not bad, man.
Yeah.
You need to send some of those deals, or
I wish I could find more of them.
yeah. What lessons did you learn from this deal? Because yeah,
Um, Lots of lessons, right? Rehabs aren't as sexy as they seem to be is probably the biggest one, and just
yeah. It's
having
it's not like it's not that 20-minute thing on HGTV, right?
no, definitely not at all. Yeah, it's definitely difficult, and you want to make sure that you're doing all your calculations correctly.
Yeah.
Don't go cheap, because if you go cheap and you want to do all the work yourself, then it takes away from your productivity,
Yeah.
and what you're trying to accomplish. So that's what I learned the most.
Yeah. Okay. Um, how about the tenant screening? I mean, you've been screening a lot of tenants. People been asking me about tenants.
Yeah,
So how did you screen your tenants?
I just look for like a middle 600, like a 640, 650. The
Uh,
biggest thing for me is just late payments, right?
yeah.
I look at 12 months to 24 months. And if there's late payments on it, then it ain't gonna happen.
So you're talking about credit score. You run credit check
Yeah.
on tenants, and then no late payments within the last 2 years.
Yep.
Do you have any income requirements that you put on there?
I prefer for them to make at least like 2 or 2.5%. I mean, not percent, but two
Times.
2.5 times of the rental amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Combined, right? I mean
Come on. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, I think that was the house that we went over there, right? Was it that
Yeah.
one?
Over the weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big house, dude.
Yeah.
I
Super
like
big.
the backyard. It's good.
Yeah. Big backyard. Super. It's a nice open floor plan. So
Yeah.
good looking house.
You don't find too many of those open floor plans in this area,
Yeah.
here on East Side. So that's good. All right. What other tips or suggestions you have for from a loan officer standpoint? Again, to kind of get people started, or just that mindset. And then maybe if you could talk about what you've been doing with your properties, and how much are you paying in mortgages right now for your property? Can you kind of elaborate on those stories?
Um, as far as how much am I paying out of pocket, or how much mortgage payments do I have on
Like,
paper?
are you still paying mortgages right now,
No,
yeah?
not on any properties, because the way that I've set up my prior purchases, they've always been so that I can pay for the next house that I purchase.
Yeah.
So, on the other 3 properties that I own, the cash flow from there pays for this house that I just purchased now, that I just moved in. So this
Okay.
house right here. Yeah. So I still have 0 mortgage payments, 4
Yeah.
properties, 0 mortgage payment. And it all started with that duplex.
Okay. All right. Let me see. Wow. I didn't think we go this far already. It's already
I know.
we're like going the way there already. So if you guys are just joining us, please like, comment, share, leave your questions. We're towards the end already. If you guys have any questions for Fong, always reach out to him.
Yeah.
And we'll get put his information on the show in a little bit. But I did a few posts in the past, and so people been asking questions. So I thought I'd ask you those questions.
Sure.
And then for those of you guys that are just joining us, if you want to ask Fong any questions, or even me too, if you want to ask, or any questions in general, go ahead and type it in the comments below, and we'll ask him. I will post this on my YouTube channel, Fang Real Estate Show. You could just look that up on YouTube. And if you're watching this later in the future, you could go ahead and leave a comment below, and I'll send those to Fong too, or we'll try to answer those questions as well. So let me start with the questions that I have. There's some on here already, but let me get the ones that people asked before. Sorry. Okay. So Chai Xiong asks, where do you get your source of money? I guess you're lending. I mean, being a loan officer, are you guys a broker, or you guys lend your own funds?
Yeah. So I work for a company called Cardinal Financial, and we're the actual bank. So
Okay.
the money comes from Cardinal Financial.
Oh, yeah.
As far as money to buy homes, like down payment and stuff, again, it's that simple concept of me zeroing out my mortgage payments. And that's what helped me save up as much money as I possibly can.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that mortgage expense. I
It's
mean, that
huge.
rental monthly
Yeah.
expense. You save that, you're able to save quickly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
what was the hardest obstacle you have to overcome? I guess maybe personal or especially real estate.
I think mindset, right? I think what I learned from 2008, Zach always told me, my biggest mentor, who kind of shifted my whole focus. I think the biggest thing when I got with him was that he saw that I had a ton of a ton of potential, but I just didn't have any direction. So that mind shift, it's a mind shift. You have to approach everything with a specific mind shift, and if you can shift from where you were to where you want to be, you'll be successful. And a big thing about that is just finding the right mentors. You can't go to where you want to be if you're still hanging around the same people, associating with the same people. You have to get yourself out of your comfort zone and start networking and going out there and finding mentors, so that they can shift your paradigm, your mental thinking process.
Yeah. Like for me, it took me like 10 years to actually change, because I was like, I was comfortable, and but I wasn't going anywhere. And even though I have all these people like Zach and my older brothers and them like trying to get me to change my. So sometimes it takes long. But what I would say is that don't wait 10 years like me. Like get started, get to go find mentors.
You have to. You have to find mentors. Yeah.
Yep.
And I was fortunate enough, that I came across Zach. Well, he's my uncle, but I'm fortunate enough to have him as my uncle. He kind of took me under his wing, and ever since then, it's been a game changer.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, let's see. What kind of deals do you look for in order to make your decision to invest?
I don't really flip properties because I don't want to pay taxes. And I don't want to give Uncle Sam all that money. So what I look for is just, that what everyone else looks for is just A or B, room, right? Depending on how I'm going to purchase it. If I'm going to purchase it with hard money, there's got to be some room in there. If I'm going to purchase it with a home equity line of credit or whatever it is, the numbers just have to make sense. And the rental rate versus the mortgage rate has to make sense, right? There has to be some type of a return on investment. So that's what I really look for, is just, the numbers just have to make sense.
Yeah. Let me see. I should probably tell you who asked these questions. So Mo Van Ta asks, from a lending perspective, what is one thing or secret that most investors do not know? that they could utilize to take to utilize to their advantages?
Yeah, and that's an excellent question, and I think what we've been talking for about the last 30 minutes is probably the key to real estate investing with traditional money. Banks hate rehabs. Banks hate investment because it shortens their return on it. I mean, it just adds way too much risk for them, and they're not willing to take it. But if you strategically structure your purchases in the next 3 to 5 years, like what we've been discussing for the last 30 minutes, you can definitely take advantage of traditional financing in a way to where you can literally fund your deals with zero down.
Yeah. So like like the banks or lenders, they look at your debt to income ratio, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you zeroed out your debt, like in your case, then you have a higher debt to income ratio. Is that a good thing to do? What's your thought on that?
So debt to income. So when I first bought my duplex, I had very little debt to income because I had my tenants paying for it.
Yeah.
So when I purchased my second property, I rented the bottom one out, so my debt to income came even lower.
Yeah.
Because I was cash flowing. So that cash flow paid for that first property, and then that cash flow paid for my second property. So throughout all these purchases, my debt to income has always been low because I've always had positive rental income sufficing for the next purchase.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me see. Zhang Lee. Wait, people can't see us? We got a couple of people saying they can't see it. Oh, can you lend Zhang some money?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for just a couple $100, let me know. No underwriting needed. But yeah, it's definitely we can look into it. It depends on what you want to do. I'm one of those loan officers where I'm not the end all and be all. I only carry a 2 to 3 specific products, and the reason why I do that is because that's only what I really want to focus on. Heck, I don't even do refis, because it's just not my specialty. So talk to me, depends on what you're looking to do, and then I'll point you in the right direction. I know a lot of really, really good loan officers as well, and if I can't do it, I'm going to make sure we find someone that can do it for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Zay again asks, how do you get approved for multiple loans for purchases? Or maybe if you,
yeah, you really can't. It's not like pre 2008. And I remember back in the good old days, I mean, people on their first purchase, they'd buy 5 houses at one time because the banks didn't have a safeguard to that. Now banks have what's called before you can go to the closing table, they do a fraud guard, and it's worse than an FBI check. So it checks into every single inquiry, everything. Okay. Just to make sure that you're not trying to buy multiple properties at one time. So it's next to impossible to buy multiple properties at one time if you're looking to buy an owner occupied. Okay. Now, if you're purchasing with 20% down, they don't care. As long as you have 20% for every single property, then you're good to go.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. How hard is it to renegotiate a new long term if you can't pay?
And that's a good question as well. The biggest thing is just to call your servicer and just be honest with them and just say, hey, look, this is where I'm at. I lost my job, or this and that happened, lifestyle change, and I really can't make my payments. And banks are willing to work with you because they want to make sure that they make their return on investment. So yeah, they'd rather work with you than to have you go into foreclosure because it costs them a lot of money as well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, from the bank side, they don't want to. I mean, they don't want to. I mean, yeah, because I got a few people that were asking me about this because they want to renegotiate their loans, and I'm like, yeah, I think the first thing is just to call them because they should work with you.
Yeah, call the servicer and they'll work with you. Every bank's a little bit different.
Yeah,
but call them first and then start from there. And a lot of banks are more than likely they'll try to find something for you.
Yep. Okay. Let me see. All right, I'm done with the questions from last time, so I'm gonna go to the questions that people have been asking on this feed. So right now we're doing questions. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and type it below, and then I'll ask Fong these questions. Let me see. The inside going to. Okay, Alicia Vang is going to buy a duplex now. So thanks, Fong.
Alicia Vang, my BFF, my good buddy in North Carolina. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
at 23, I actually bought a condo down there. So I went down there for a couple of years, and that's when I met Alyssa. And
Oh,
at that time, I was like, yeah, I want to be this. I want to do this, Alyssa. I want to do this, that. And I think they used to think I was crazy because they're like, this is weird, dude. And nowadays, she's an awesome rock star realtor down there in North
yeah,
Carolina. So if you guys are looking to buy in the North Carolina area, make sure you guys reach out to Alyssa.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah. No
Alyssa.
wonder she almost didn't return my messages. Cause she's
Yeah,
like, "Too Fang, oh man, I know this Fong Fang. I don't want to talk about." No, I'm kidding. But she's been sending me a lot of listing.
she's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah,
She
from
sends me listings as well.
yeah,
And hopefully me and you, we might have to go down to North Carolina to take a look at that market. It's a good market.
yeah, for sure. Let me see. A Kim said Fong's the man.
Hey
So,
Kim, yeah, I just did a deal with him.
oh yeah,
Um, Actually, he was a listing agent on one of the deals, and they had tied his property up for about a month or two, and they couldn't close. And lenders, they keep blaming it on other people, and I'm like, no, that's BS. So they blamed it on Minnesota Housing. They said it's because Minnesota Housing said that we couldn't get this loan done. That's why we couldn't get it done. I
yeah,
got that file. A Kim called me, sent me that file. I was like, this is 100% close. So
yeah.
long story short, we closed it out in about three and a half weeks.
Oh, okay. Oh
Yes.
yeah, about that. You don't just you don't pre-approve people. You kind of pre-underwrite people already, right?
I pre-underwrite people. Yeah,
Yeah,
and the reason why is because I'm not the underwriter, right?
yeah.
A pre-approval is just my interpretation. But the one that wants to the approval that you really want to get is from the underwriter. They're the one that's going to say yay or nay when that loan gets to them.
So explain that for people that doesn't know. What's a pre-approval and what's an underwriter?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so a pre-approval is, it's real simple. You bring your documents to me. I'm a loan officer. I'm a loan officer. You bring your documents to me. So based off of what I see on your documents and my experience, I say you're pre-approved or you're not pre-approved, right?
yeah,
So imagine this is that you meet a loan officer who's only been in the business for about 2 months, who really doesn't know guidelines or anything. And there's a long learning curve. I think it took me about a year or two to understand guidelines. So you go and you meet a rookie and they say you're pre-approved and they send you a pre-approval letter. A pre-approval letter is it's a pre-made template and I can send it to 1 million people. It's super easy. That's
yeah,
how easy a pre-approval is. So what I do is I pre-underwrite. So I get that file together. I trim off the edges. I make sure it looks nice and pretty. I send that into the underwriter. The underwriter is the one that's going to give the okay on the money or the no on the money. So before I even issue out a pre-approval letter, the underwriter has already approved about 80% of the loan. So the
hmm,
only thing we're waiting on now is just an appraisal to appraise, and if there's any work orders on the appraisal. And by the time we get that file in, we get them closed in about 2.5 weeks to 3 weeks. So
yeah.
yep.
No wonder that's why you close so quick. I see all of
Yeah.
those posts. You close like that you close at the rate of like hard money lenders and private private
Yeah,
money.
sometimes, yeah, we've closed loans in about 12 days to about 16 days.
Yeah,
Throughout the summer, we've been averaging around 21 to 22 days, but yeah, we can get them done pretty fast.
yeah. So the underwriter is pretty much the person that decides, the one at the bank, the person at the bank that decides yes or no on the loan, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Um, but then your process takes a little bit more work up front. But once you get all your documentations in place, you could close quickly, right? Is that what you
Yeah,
do?
definitely. The way I do my pre-approvals, I mean, they definitely take longer, 3 to 5 business days, because I order all your verifications of employment. Not that customers are liars, but sometimes they exaggerate the truth, right?
Yeah.
So I want to make sure you're solid, because if I don't do my due diligence, you're the only one that's going to lose money. You're going to lose money on the home inspection. You possibly lose your earnest money, and then possibly you're going to pay for an appraisal. So you're going to lose that as well if I don't do my due diligence up front. So I
Yeah.
really get deep in the process up front so that once we get an accepted offer, it's a walk in the park for us.
Yeah, and for my side, I think you might as well go through that route with you anyways, right? Because
Yeah.
if you do all the verifications, you do all the documentation, and like if I applied to for a loan, and I don't meet that requirement, you could kind of let me know to work on certain things before I
Yeah,
jump in, and then I waste my time looking, and then later my loans don't even close. So
certainly.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a big part of it. And I tell people all the time, I don't care if you have good credit, bad credit. I don't care if you've been working for a month or two. Come in and see me.
yeah,
Let me get a game plan for you.
yep,
Not everyone. I think out of the clients that I meet, I think maybe 90% of them probably are not qualified to buy.
hmm
You know, upfront. But
yeah,
it's okay. And that's why you want to. That's what you want to look for in a loan officer. Is you want to look for someone that's gonna get you there. Gonna get a game plan going for you. Um, because not everybody, nine times out of 10, they're not qualified to buy. And
yeah.
we as professionals, we have to get a game plan for them.
Yeah, yeah. And what I noticed is too that you don't know, you can't save, or you don't know how to get where you want. Like, let's say you want to buy a duplex, you're not gonna know where to start unless you know where you are. And being a loan officer and real estate agents, especially loan officer on the financing side, you find a good loan officer, they'll kind of direct you and put that game plan together. So that's awesome that you do that. Let me see. What are the terms? Oh, serve on. Oh, from San Diego, man. What are the terms for that loan that you did? So maybe what are some of the terms? They're 30-year amortization loans, right?
Yeah, simple 30-year terms.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing fancy, nothing, no crazy arm, balloon payments, interest only payment, none of that crazy stuff.
Yeah,
All this is just simple, traditional 30-year fixed FHA or conventional loans.
yeah. What are the typical rates now that you've been approving?
These days we're probably looking at rates. Rates took a hike in middle October.
Uh huh.
So they're kind of floating around, probably around 3.875 to about 4% right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Servon asks again. How did you buy your second home? Did you refi the first, or you just?
No, I kept the first home, so I kept my first duplex, and keep in mind that I zeroed out my mortgage payment. So it took me 2 years to buy my second home. So by that time, I've already saved up about 20 something thousand because I didn't have a mortgage payment or any housing payment.
Yeah. So that first one really helps you save.
Super. Yeah.
Yeah. John said you're looking good, man.
Thank
You've
you.
been to the gym, dude.
Is that
Have
John Boo?
you? No, John Fang.
Oh, John Fang. Okay, of course, man. John, man. Where do you think you get your good looks from?
Let's see. We're almost done here.
Okay,
Do
because I
you?
gotta go watch my Chargers get stomped on. Unfortunately,
Oh yeah, that's what
Tiny said.
yeah, yeah. Let me see. Peter asks, do you have an auto loan? Oh, okay. Peter asks, if I have an auto loan, is there any way around that if I want to purchase a property? I know
Uh,
you talked about this topic in one of your videos before.
it's tough. So, Peter, it really depends. It depends on how far along you are. If you're within 12 months of your term ending, then we can exclude that debt from you. It doesn't cost. Yeah, we can take that debt off. If you're a co-signer on the loan and someone else has been paying for 12 months, then we can exclude that debt off as well.
Yeah.
If you're the sole person on it and you still have a couple of years left on it, it sucks. But it is what it is. You've already bought it. You can't change it. You can find a co-signer, whatever the case may be. But if you're in it and you still have 2 to 3 years left, right now's the time to start pre-planning.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. Just pre-plan. And just don't buy another car, right? What people do is they buy this car and then they go trade it for another car, and then it's a never-ending cycle of high debt to income.
Yeah, they trade for a bigger car.
Yeah,
or a more expensive car.
More expensive cars. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good tip. I mean, if you already purchased it, it's fine, but don't go buy. Don't trade up. Don't go buy a new one. Put a plan together for the next two years or so.
Yeah,
and you should be okay. All right.
Because too, like not everything has to happen right now, right? We're living in this day and age where we want instant gratification, but the people who I've met that have been most successful are the ones who have planned it for like decades.
Yeah.
Take for instance Zach. The guy was broke for about 20 or 30 years. Eating ramen noodles. And it didn't just happen overnight for him. It took him like 20 years of suffering until that light bulb clicked, and then that's when he just took off.
Yeah. Yeah, I think most people said it like I'm a 20-year overnight success.
Yeah.
Be patient.
Yeah,
Put a
be
plan
patient.
together,
Yeah.
and you'll get there. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Carson Ning Zhongxiong said,
Carson.
yeah. Oh, you know him too?
I know Carson.
Zero down.
Carson's a monster. He's a monster real estate investor. Picks up tons of properties.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Carson, you gotta get tips for people, man.
You should actually bring him on. Carson picks up a lot of gems, man.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to him then. It's a good, guys. Thanks for sharing. I think that's it. Some little personal questions. What do you do aside from real estate?
You see my guitars over there? My keyboard over there. So, guys, I love music. I'm not really good at it, but I love music. So I play music a lot. On my off time, just to kind of offset all the stress in my head.
Yeah. You also do a lot of community activities, right?
I do, yeah. So right now I'm part of Monko Yising. I'm the Fang representative. So my term is going to be ending in about 2 months. So it'll definitely give me more time to touch my musical instruments.
Okay, all right. What do you like to do for fun?
I used to like fishing until I moved up here. The fish are so small that I just don't fish anymore.
Well, you came from like two sides of the ocean.
Yeah.
Just to 10,000 lakes, but
Yeah.
the lakes are just not the same as the ocean, huh?
It's just not the same as the ocean. I'm an ocean fisherman, so I don't really fish anymore. Nowadays, I work, and when I have free time, I try to spend it as much as I can with my family or my daughter.
Yeah.
Play a little bit of music, and then if I'm not working, I'm doing community service work in the Hmong community. So I've been pretty busy. I'm looking forward to my term ending in December.
You gotta find something else to do, man.
Yeah.
I've noticed like busy people, they can't really stay still. Like if once you stay still, you don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's just
like,
it's weird,
bored. Yeah. So all right, we're towards the end of our conversation already. It's been an hour. It went by pretty quick. If you guys have any questions, you guys could still leave them below. If you're watching this in the future, you have questions or you want to reach out to Fong or not or anything, leave your comments below and we'll try to answer those questions for you guys. I'll put Fong's information. Or actually, where can they find you if they want to reach out to you?
Yeah, you guys can reach out to me, Fong Fang, on Facebook. I do a lot of stuff on Facebook. I mean, heck, I do a lot of my business on Facebook. Communicating with my real estate agents and everything on Facebook. If you guys ever have questions, tag me on this video, or just hit me up on Facebook, and I'd be more than happy to help you out.
Okay. All right, and then a few last questions. I know you've been reading books too. What are some of the books that business books or real estate books that you recommend?
I don't read a lot of like I call them technique books. So books that pertain to particular techniques like real estate investing or flipping or rehabbing. I read more mindset books, and I remember moving up to Rhode Island. Zach put me into construction. I'm like, dude, I didn't come up here for that stuff. Why am I doing construction?
Yeah.
But he did that for a reason. And the whole time when I was doing construction, he just kept buying me a bunch of these books, So the first book was Just Think and Grow Rich. And from there, one of my favorite books, I still read it once a year, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Obviously, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad and Poor Dad, Poor Dad. I think just those three or those two right there will set you on a pretty good, direction. But Rich Dad Poor Dad, I mean, it's changed a lot of people's mindset. And if you're out there and if you're looking to get out of where you're at right now, and it sucks working for other people, go pick up Rich Dad Poor Dad and Think and Grow Rich, and that's going to change your whole mindset.
Yeah, and like that book too. How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
No wonder you're so good.
Love it. So these three books, I read them annually, just to kind of re-ingrain stuff in my head.
Yeah, when I'm not as good talking to people, I go back to How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm like, oh man, I forgot to.
Yeah, I missed that part.
So that's good.
Yeah.
All right. What are some final thoughts? Because we're towards the end already. If you guys are just joining, I'll put this on YouTube. You guys can watch it again. I know a couple of people message me that they're gonna miss it because they're at church or something like that. So I'll send you guys the link. But what are some final thoughts that you have for new investors or even seasoned investors or someone that is brand new that hasn't had that mind shift change yet?
Yeah, I think you know, I think it's my final thought's going to be geared more towards the early investors or the ones who are thinking about investing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the biggest thing is you want a strategy. You want to simplify everything, and it doesn't matter what anyone's doing. You know, someone can have 10 properties, 20 properties, this, that, and the other. Don't concern yourself with that. You're just looking for your first deal, okay? And if you're looking for your first deal, if you're looking to buy and hold, go ahead and get yourself into a duplex, you know, and that's it. You know, I want you to stop your focus there, you know, get there first, you know, and then plug yourself with mentors who are achieving the results that you're looking to achieve, and that's going to shorten your time span of getting to where you want to go. A lot of times what we do is we confuse ourselves with HDTV or all these crazy fancy techniques when what we need to focus on is just that next deal, you know? So focus on that next deal, plug yourself with the right mentors, and you'll be fine. It's just like football, right? Today's NFL Sunday. So every single Sunday, 32 football teams, they're not focused on winning the rest of their season. They're just focused on that game today. So if they can win today, that's their job, you know. So focus on that next deal.
Yeah. So focus on your first game,
That's it.
your current game, getting
That's
that.
it. Focus on your current game. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right, that's good, man. Good advice. Thanks, Fong. It went by quicker than I thought. I thought we were gonna have more time, but it's already been an hour, so I don't want to keep you too long.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely too. Thanks. Thanks so much. I appreciate you bringing me on here. For those of you who are viewing the videos, thank you guys for taking the time to tune in.
yeah.
Me and two, I mean, I know myself, I'm always available. So if you guys have any questions about the business, if you're looking to get into the business, let me know, you know, and I'll do my best to help you out. The mortgage business, I meant.
Yeah, yeah. And then I'll do the real estate side. So
Yeah.
you got enough people to help you already. Just
Yeah.
message us. All right. Yeah, thanks, Fong. I'll see you, man.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Later.
Bye.